about all the quotes. This is coming straight from White House aides. These transcripts are produced by the White House. These are people in the room taking notes, people on the call taking notes. So this is reliable information. This is what the president actually said with these foreign leaders. It was a big deal when there were initial quotes, a few quotes from these calls. You might remember leaked very early on in the Trump presidency. But now to see the entire transcripts as we pour over these many pages and look for some of the news, it is a extraordinarily unusual kind of leak to see from any government, and this is something that's coming to the Washington Post one day before the Attorney General has a press conference to crack down on leaks.
Also one day after. Go ahead.
I was going to say about this particular call, this transcript was actually circulated very wide throughout the National Security Council, and that was because it was the first foreign call, and this was before leaks were really coming out. But then once this exact exchange started leaking in the press, they limited the circle of National Security Council members that could have access to the call. So I'm not exactly surprised to see that this one leaked. I think it was a matter of time before we saw the whole transcript, because now they only share with a very small group of National Security Council members from the exact region. Before that, it would go wide.
It also comes, to your point, Tara, in the same week as there's been quite a shakeup within the National Security Council, and some of the people who were there before, not there anymore. Mary Catherine, to you, the core of the president's promise to the American people was not just we're going to build a wall. It was Mexico is going to pay for that, not you, the taxpayer, not the U.S. government. He is essentially telling the Mexican president here that we'll figure it out in the wash, but you just can't keep saying that.
Can I actually also add, in this transcript, he tells the president of Mexico, I have to have Mexico pay for the wall. I have to. I've been talking about it for a 2-year period.
Right, and I think this reflects something that we've seen with Trump over and over, where he wants something from the other side of the table, but is not reading, like, what's that guy's advantage? Why does it work for Peña Nieto to give this thing? He has no motivation to do that. So you're not working with a lot other than being able to yell at him on the phone, and it seems like a miscalculation. And then I think the revealing sentence is the part about this is the least important thing we're talking about, but it's the most important political point. And that, to me, is something that may make some Trump supporters look sideways, although they will also think this is probably a negotiating tactic. And, like, some of that may be true. It just seems like he's not negotiating with a tone
but that's
here.
one thing if the negotiations are actually working.
Yes.
It's another if they're not. Greg Miller, the reporter who broke this story, joins us now from the Washington Post. All right, walk us through, because we're about halfway through reading this. This just broke. Why don't you walk us through the main points as you see them?
Well, I mean, for our story, I thought the most interesting news here was his discussion of the wall. It was such a central campaign issue for Trump, and there's a level of cynicism in this very first call with the Mexican president that is completely at odds with his sort of public posture on this issue. He makes no attempt in this conversation to try to get a commitment that Mexico is going to pay for this wall. Instead, he spends much of the call trying to pressure the Mexican president to stop talking about it, stop saying you're not going to pay for this wall because it's killing Trump politically.
You know, he says he knows how to build very inexpensively, and it will be a better wall, and it will look nice. The President of the United States says to the President of Mexico there. And then, Greg, again, in this transcript that you're printing the details of here, the President of Mexico essentially makes the point, no, you don't get how important this is to our sense of dignity.
Right. He describes this as an issue of national dignity for Mexico, and something he at one point tells Trump, you guys have put a big mark on our back. Trump is basically asking him to take a huge public relations hit, and the Mexican president is trying to explain to Trump why that is just not going to happen, and they're really just sort of talking past each other. And you see the Mexican president trying to say, look, you don't understand the dynamics here. If you want fewer people crossing the border into the United States from Mexico, you got to deal with economic growth. We got to reach agreements that are going to make both of our economies stronger, and as well as security issues. But this is just Trump is just really fixated on the structure itself and how this is going to look, the way they resolve this is going to reflect on him.
David Drucker, it also seems like a sort of a political miscalculation, not thinking about, all right, well, what is my Mexican counterpart dealing with? The Mexican elections that are coming up, how he is going to have to look incredibly strong and standing up to pressure from the United States heading into these elections. I mean, that seems sort of like rookie move heading into political negotiations.
And I think this goes to the fatal flaw in Trump's get-tough approach to diplomacy and the very public manner in which he jawbones our allies and many of our adversaries. I mean, look, there are two issues here. One is that the nature of this leak. It's a very damaging, it could be a very dangerous leak, and that the president has to know that he can have private conversations with world leaders without things leaking. These seem harmless enough given the subject matters, but it's going to make other leaders very hesitant to have conversations with him. It's going to make the president looking over his shoulder in the White House. This is something, as good as it is for the public to know about this stuff, they're going to have to tighten this up. The other issue is, though, as you point out, Poppy, that the president made his bones in the campaign by saying that the U.S. has been played for years by other countries, both friend and foe. He was going to get tough, and I think what the president has always lost sight of and not been aware of is that other countries have voters too. They have domestic constituencies too.
Right.
And so when you want to get things out of other countries, you have to often finesse it, and you have to treat them in a way that understands that even though the United States is the big fish and everybody needs us, a lot of other voters in other countries resent the fact that they need the United States, resent the fact that we're the biggest economic power, biggest military power, and they're not just going to fold over and fall over when the United States starts making demands. That has caused him problems in Europe. It's causing him problems with China vis-a-vis North Korea. And you see here in the conversations, both with Turnbull of Australia and Peña Nieto of Mexico, that they don't really care about Trump's problems, and they don't care about what Trump has promised. They've got their own voters to answer to, and that is their priority.
You know, of note here, after these confrontational calls with the president of Mexico and a leader in Australia, too, President Trump did note he did have one pleasant call. He goes, Putin was a pleasant call. That in the transcripts here. All right, guys, we're going to